Right, this is the 2023 Higher Applications of Maths paper. This is question 11, one where we have been given a spreadsheet. So it says quite clearly at the start of the question we must refer to a spreadsheet file. It tells us that various parts of the question must be completed using the spreadsheet and that part B must be completed in the space below, or the space provided. So here we've got Ramsey applying to take out a loan of £6,000 with a term of 3 years from a bank. Level monthly repayments are made at the end of each month. The effective annual interest rate is 6.3%. We've been told to open the bank loan worksheet and complete the bank loan repayment schedule to determine the level monthly repayment amount and the final repayment amount. So here we go. Here's the spreadsheet. I've got bank company down the bottom left open, so that's the appropriate worksheet. And what I should do, and what you should do every single time you're working with an SQA spreadsheet, is pop your name, so not your centre name, pop your name where it says name, pop your Scottish candidate number into the box that says SCN, and then your centre name, so the place that you are sitting your exam at, in there. And that just means if your printout of this gets lost, it can get, if it's found, then it can get sent to the proper place and you'll get it marked. We've got the initial amount, we've got the £6,000, we've got the interest rate, the annual interest rate I should say, and we've got the loan period in years. Our repayment amount is monthly, and if we scroll down we can see the spreadsheet goes as far as 36 months. So we need to find a monthly effective interest rate. To do that we're going to use a formula. I'm going to say equals 1 plus my annual effective interest rate. That's essentially changed it into a percentage multiplier, like you would use when you're doing compound interest. I need to take this and I need to split it into the 12 payments across the year. So I'm going to take that to the power of 1/12. I need to put the 1/12 in brackets, otherwise the spreadsheet doesn't know I'm talking about a fraction there. That's taken my annual effective rate and broken it down into this multiplier for a monthly effective rate. To get that down to just a percentage, getting rid of that 100%, I'm going to minus 1. So we've got a monthly effective interest rate of 0.510%. Monthly repayment amount. We don't know what that is the purpose in this question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a dummy value into that box. I'm going to throw £150 in. Final repayment, we don't know what that is, we're going to leave it until we've actually got our monthly. So our repayment is going to equal the value in cell C10. Because I always want this repayment to be C10, I put my dollar symbols in. That's telling the computer, no matter where I copy and paste this formula to, always look in cell C10. My interest rate, no, my interest content, that is going to be this percentage of last month's balance, or last month's outstanding. Now, I always want to be calculating that 0.51%. So again, some absolute referencing, I want to lock that in place. Because we're dealing with pounds and pennies, I want this cell to be rounded to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to round whatever this formula gives me, comma, to 2 decimal places. So that hasn't changed the value there, but as we go further down we would see longer decimal numbers appearing. But this is going to round them all to 2 decimal places. The capital content, that's going to be our repayment minus the interest. Basically what happens is the bank will pay off the interest before it's added on, and then whatever is left over, this value, goes towards paying off your loan. So our outstanding loan is going to be the 6,000 minus the 119.37. The only thing I've got an absolute reference for is the monthly payment amount and the monthly effective interest rate, because I want to be able to drag this down and for it to look in the previous, in all the appropriate cells from the line above or the line it's currently in. So I've highlighted these 4 cells. I'm going to grab the wee box down the bottom right and drag this all the way down to 36 months. So we can see after 36 months, paying off £150 leaves £1,295.49 left to pay. So we've not paid off enough money. This £150 isn't enough. I could sit here and guess different values until I hit 0, but what it makes more sense to do, and what the SQA are looking for you to do, is to go to Data, What If Analysis, and run a goal seek. So I want the cell F52, this bottom cell, to have a value of 0, and I want the spreadsheet to figure out how to do that by changing the monthly repayment amount. So by changing cell C10. And it's going to try lots of trial and error, and it'll eventually zero in to the value that will give us 0 at the bottom of the schedule. Right, £182.87 gives us a value of 0 down the bottom there. We've got an issue though. If I double click on the monthly repayment amount, you can see it's not 87 pence, it's 0.8719444 reoccurring. Money needs to be to 2 decimal places, so I could use a round function here, or I could just round the value. So that 871 is going to round to 87 pence. I'm now going to scroll back down to the bottom, and I can see I've got 7 pence left to pay on the loan. So it means my final payment isn't enough. I need to pay an extra 7 pence there. So our monthly repayments were £182.87, but our final value is 7 pence more. So our final amount is going to equal the value of that cell. I could write it down and type it in, but it makes more sense to use the referencing. So equals C52, done. So we can see the 2 repayment amounts in the 2 cells there. Right, back to the question. Determine the total interest paid over the term of the loan. Right, we're basically wanting to add up all these values in the interest content column. So we could sit with a calculator and manually add them all up. I can highlight them all, and depending on how Excel is set up for you, down the bottom of the screen it will actually sum it up. So just beside my head there, I've got 583.39. None of that's particularly elegant, none of that's really using Excel how it's intended. We can use the sum function. So I've typed equals sum, and I've opened the brackets, and I'm going to highlight all of the values by clicking and dragging. I'm highlighting all the values I want to add up. Scrolling back up with the roll bar in the middle of the mouse, I can see my formula. Just need to close the brackets there and hit enter. So you can see he's paid back £583.39 extra in interest. Right, back to the question. Ramsey's application for this loan was rejected. State one reason why a bank might reject a loan application. You've got space here, so where my cursor's moving back and forth, you just write a reason in there. Appropriate reasons could be, the top 2 would be Ramsey has a poor credit rating, which means he's not going to get the loan, or the bank have realised he won't be able to afford the repayments on his current salary. Either of those would be reasons. There's probably a dozen other reasons, but those are the big two that the SQA would be looking for. Back to spreadsheeting. Ramsey decides to borrow money from a loan company. The loan company offers £6,000 for 3 years with a fixed level monthly repayments of £250 made at the end of each month. Open the loan company worksheet. So if we just flick over here, we've got the bank company one. Clicking down there, we've got the loan company one. Complete the loan company repayment schedule to find the annual effective rate of interest. So, over at the spreadsheet, I'll zoom this in so you can see it. Before we do anything, name, Scottish candidate number, make sure you type it in correctly, and centre number. Again, that's the place that you are sitting the exam in. We've got the £6,000, we've got the 3 years, and we've been given the 250. What's missing this time is the annual effective rate. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to set up the schedule, and then we're going to run a goal seek. And just to see the spreadsheet works, I'm going to put another dummy amount in. So just pulling a number out of thin air, I will put 15%. I'm going to use a formula to get my monthly effective interest rate. So that will equal 1 plus the value above to the power of 1/12. And then I'm going to minus 1 from that to get a monthly effective interest rate of 1.17%. So a repayment is going to be £250 each month. They've said it's a level repayment. So I put my dollar symbols in, not pound symbols. So that's going to be $C, $10. We are going to take this monthly percentage of last month's outstanding. I need to make sure my formula works properly, so I am going to put in an absolute reference for the percentage, lock down that blue cell, and I'm going to round this interest calculation to 2 decimal places. Capital content, that's going to be the repayment once we've paid off the interest. So repayment minus the interest, the interest content, sorry, means we've got £179.71 left to pay off the loan. So it means the outstanding loan will be the 6,000 minus that 17971. Right, we've got the spreadsheet set up in month 1. So we highlight all of those calculations, grab the little box on the bottom right and drag it down to month 36. That interest rate isn't right because we have overpaid by £1,990.43. So that should be 0 down at the bottom there. So we need to go to data, what if analysis. I'm going to run another goal seek. We want that cell at the bottom to equal 0, and this time we're going to change the annual effective interest rate because that's the one the formula in cell C8 is referencing. Okay, that 15 is the one we want changed. So I push OK. Let's run the goal seek. So I'm just going to OK that warning box. We've got our annual effective rate of 32.61%. We scroll down, we've got £0 exactly in the bottom cell there. Total interest paid, we can fill that in by using the sum function again. So I'm going to sum up all of the interest payments. So I just closed the bracket there behind it and pushed enter. And we can see we've paid £3,000 in interest, so significantly more than the bank loan. Determine the difference in the total interest paid between the two loans. So I've already got the total interest there for the loan company. So here I'm going to do £3,000, take away £583.39 from the previous sheet. So I'm going to use a formula to do that. I'm going to say equals this cell minus, and then I change the sheet I'm looking at, that cell. I hit return, takes me back to my previous sheet, and we can see the difference in interest is £2,416.61, and it's the spreadsheet that's calculated that for us. Now, that is the question answered, but to make sure you get the marks for it, you need to print the spreadsheet out. So, print bank loan worksheet in value view and formula view. So, to print all the values, to print what we're seeing just now, you would go File, Print. Now, it's set up in landscape. That's fine. That's nice and easy to read. But, let the screen catch up with me. That's only printing one of the sheets. That's question 11b. So I'm going to go, instead of printing active sheets, I'm going to ask it to print the entire work booklet. Again, the screen's lagging a little bit behind. There we go. That's going to print 6 pages. You shouldn't need to go and collect that. The invigilator or whoever's observing you during the exam will collect that. I'm going to come out of that. We also need to print the formula view. So I'm going to go to the formula tab. So again, the screen's taking a little while to catch up with me. You go to formula tab up the top. You would go to show formulas. So that's showing the formula on the loan company page. I'll go back to the bank loan. And then I'll go formula, show formulas again. And that'll show me all the formulae on that page. And then I would need to go File, Print, make sure the entire workbook is selected, and you'll see here it's now printed all these pages with your formulae. Notice every single page that gets printed will have your information on it up the top there.